The creepiest and deranged experiments ever conducted. Science is amazing, but it can involve some very strange circumstances. This was especially true when it came to human experiments, where the numerous experiments performed on human test subjects were considered unethical and were often performed illegally without the knowledge or consent of the test subjects. The skin hardening experiments. In the 1960s, dermatologist Albert Kligman ran a very comprehensive experimental program on inmates of Holmesburg Prison. In one such experiment, the U.S. Army sponsored a study that focused on finding ways to harden the skin. Theoretically, the hardened skin would protect the soldiers from chemical irritants while in combat zones. Kligman applied various chemical-filled creams and agents to the inmates, but the only noticeable outcome was permanent scarring and a good deal of pain. Pharmaceutical companies also paid Kligman to use his prisoners as guinea pigs to test their products. While the subjects were paid to participate, they were not fully informed of the experiment's objectives and the potentially adverse effects that could result from them. Many of the chemical concoctions ended up causing the skin to blister and burn. Kligman displayed ruthless mechanical efficiency in dealing with the inmates during his tenure at the prison. In fact, after he arrived at the prison for the first time, he remarked that, "All I saw before me were acres of skin." The Stanford Prison Experiment. The Stanford Prison Experiment was a psychological study of human responses to captivity and its behavioral effects on both authorities and inmates in prison. The experiment was conducted in 1971 by a team of researchers led by psychologist Philip Zimbardo at Stanford University. Undergraduate volunteers played the roles of both guards and prisoners living in a mock prison in the basement of the Stanford Psychology Building. Prisoners and guards rapidly adapted to their roles, stepping behind the boundaries of what had been predicted and leading to dangerous and psychologically damaging situations. A third of the guards were judged to have exhibited genuine sadistic tendencies, while many prisoners were emotionally traumatized and two had to be removed from the experiment early. Zimbardo, alarmed at the increasingly abusive antisocial behavior from his subjects, terminated the entire experiment early.